JP, the big question this week. Who's your clutch player of the week?
My clutch player has to be Cole Jermaine Palmer, aka Gold Palmer. He was obviously on my draft team. He was my number one pick, and he came clutch for me. Amazing. He hasn't scored since January, only 2 assists since that terrible run. And I was really hopeful because he was playing, Liverpool, already crowned Liverpool. They're going to heavily rotate. And I needed him to step up, the final 3 games, 3 weeks of the season. And he stepped up big. He was spraying passes. He was dropping deep. Maestro, running the play, running the show. That's the old Palmer of old, and thank God he came clutch. It was lucky at the 95th minute. Some people can argue penalty. For me, it's a stonewall penalty. And he stepped up against Becker and get in there, Cole. What about you, Dog? How did your team do? Who was your man of the week?
For me, it's too easy. It's this man right here,
Oh,
elbow of the week, Eva Nilsson. And there's a
shame.
lot of a lot of controversy on that one, and I really haven't reached a conclusion there as to what I really feel was the right play. I've seen so many still pictures and angles and all that. I am leaning more towards it being handball, but to me, I'll take all these points. And as you'll see later on, we're gonna look at our teams. You're gonna see how important those points were for me.
I would say you got super lucky. Not only did Ivan Nelson red got rescinded, which would have hindered your season massively, but he also shows up against Arsenal away, and they haven't been in great form, Bournemouth, and he stepped up with this elbow of the week. So lucky man, good stuff, man.
Yeah, it's again, that's what Clutch is. I had no expectations of him doing anything away at Arsenal, but here we are. So we take those points and we run.
All right, so now let's move on, guys, to our waiver picks from last week. So we
Yes,
shouted out,
GP.
yeah, these next guys, and a lot of them hit. To be honest, we were very fruitful. So the first guy is Jakub Stolarczyk from Leicester. So guys, I call this goalkeeper because Hermansen is out for the season, and he was the guy to replace him. Last week he had Leicester had Southampton at home, and they cleaned that game. So I think that was a good pick in that sense. This week I would avoid him or bench him if you have him because he plays Forest away. However, next week he has a really good fixture against Ipswich, so he can be a good goalkeeper for you if you need him next week. And then next, we gotta talk about Patterson. Again, he wasn't super high owned in a lot of leagues, but because of Tarkovsky getting injured, they moved O'Brien to the center, and Patterson is now playing right back. I liked him because they played against Ipswich last week. They play again against Southampton at home, the easiest picture that you can ever dream of, next week. And here's the nice cherry on top. It will be the last ever game at Goodison Park because they will move to their new stadium next year. So I feel like the fans will be up for it, the players will be up for it. Even if he doesn't keep a clean sheet, which he didn't do against Ipswich, he still got an assist. And his stats are actually not bad. He got 4 shot creating actions, 0.1 XA. So he's involved, so and active, and he's a good player. So I would keep an eye on him for next week.
What do you
And
think about the future for Nathan Patterson? We're talking about players that might be rising talent, let's say. Let's talk more for Nathan Patterson. Is this something long term? And I'm not talking long term as in obviously the season ends in 2-3 weeks. I'm talking like, is this an FPL asset? And we're talking obviously specifically in draft today for this video. So in terms of draft, JP, do you think that's maybe a pick 7 or pick 8, round 8 individual, or is this maybe something that's very, very short term and
yeah,
you
for
drop
sure.
that name later?
Yeah, it's a good question. A couple of points I would say is Moyes. Well, Moyes is not Dyche. Dyche was probably very high in terms of his defensive stats. So I would say Everton picks defensively would be high. Moyes is not Dyche, but he's still good. With West Ham, he was good defensively. He was solid. So for next year, you can target Everton defenders for draft for sure. Now, is Patterson what is his
The
future
man.
looking like? Yeah,
Yes.
it's interesting. He got lucky because Tarkovsky got injured. O'Brien
Correct.
started at the right back position. O'Brien is also a new up and coming Irish guy. So can you fit both O'Brien and Patterson in the same team? I would say yes, because when Patterson came, there was a lot of hype around him. He was going to be like the next guy to take over from Seamus Coleman, of course, club legend at Everton. So they saw Patterson as the guy. The only way I can see him starting and you just be confident with him is if they sell Brentwaite, which of course
Mm.
we know Jared is very attractive to a lot of clubs. So if he goes to Man United, for example, which I don't think he will, by the way, but then that opens up a slot for O'Brien to move centrally, which opens the spot for Patterson to start at right back. Which, if you
Amazing.
ask me, this is how it should be done. O'Brien should not be right back. It should be Patterson.
Got it. And so up next we have our big man, Monsieur Emerson. What are your
Yeah,
thoughts?
Emerson, of course. Yeah. So Emerson has been around for a while. We know him from his Chelsea days. So I shouted this guy because Ollie Scarles is now out of favor. So Emerson will get the minutes for you guys, and West Ham play with five at the back. So this is why I
Mm.
think that he can still be available in your league. West Ham have good fixtures, starting with Man United away. Is that a good fixture? It can be because United will heavily rotate after Bilbao, and then they still have good fixtures. The Hammers in the next two game weeks. So if you're really desperate for a defensive pick, he can be your guy. And the end the season with Ipswich away, yeah, again a good one.
Amazing. On to the next. And this was one that you shouted out earlier,
Yeah,
Agbadu.
Agbadu. Yeah, of course, Vitor Pereira has been a revelation in this league since he came, and he really, really solidified the Wolves. And I think they've won like 5 games unbeaten run, which was amazing. Um, Game week 36, they play Brighton at home. I like this one for Agbadu or Doherty, by the way, if he's available. I'm sure
Mm.
Aiden Nori is not available. I'm sure Totti maybe not available or Semedo. So those are the probably the cream of the crop. If those guys aren't available, then go for Agbadu or Doherty, because not only do they play Brighton this week, they have Palace next week, and then they end the season with Brentford at home.
So would you
They're,
say
they're
that's a keep
yeah,
for
they're
the
not the
rest of the
best fixtures in the world, but they're not the best fixtures in the world, but they're still really good, and the Wolves have good form. So if you have Agbadu or Doherty, I think you keep him for the rest of the year.
season? All right. Amazing. And on to our star of this episode, McNeil. Walk me through. Is he the next revelation?
Dwight McNeil, good McNeil punting. For me, guys, I called this guy 3 weeks ago. I saw him come for 5 minutes against Forest away, and he did a sick assist to for Ducouré to score. And then he gave me the talismanic vibes. This is what we're looking for, right? A guy who's gonna create a lot of actions. He's gonna be in the box. He's gonna shoot. McNeil loves to shoot for fun. He's also on set pieces. He has a wand of a left foot, so he can be a real talismanic figure for Everton. Again, they play next week against Southampton at home, last ever game at Goodison. So if he's available in your league, I would strongly recommend McNeil. And he rewarded our faith. He got us a goal, 3 bonus, one shot, 0.03 xg, because that shot was like from no man's land. But he can do that. He has that in his locker. Those outside of the foot shots, those curvers. So I love him. He reminds me of Rivaldo. Of course, he's a poor man's Rivaldo, like the dollar store Rivaldo. But I love him. So go
And
McNeil.
McNeil is the problem I think that we have now is McNeil was a good shout a couple of weeks ago, and I think for an 8 or 10 man league,
Mm.
he will be unavailable. But I believe if he is available on the waiver wire, that's definitely a great pickup.
Yeah, I see next game as against Southampton at home with having lots of goals. They will say goodbye to the stadium. They will want to treat their fans. So if McNeil is not available, we can go to Ndai if he's available, or even Ducore, which I wouldn't recommend. In my eyes, it would be McNeil first and then Ndai second. Of course, we know that Beto is probably not available in your league, so just keep an eye on these guys.
Amazing. And now this is a controversial one. Uh, we've posted on Reddit and we've had some mixed reviews about this man right here, Harry Wilson.
Yeah,
JP,
the
walk
Harry
me
Frauds.
through the
The
yeah,
Harry Frauds talk about Harry Wilson. We love him.
yes. Walk me through this walk me through this man right here. Why was this a an upcoming pick, or why was it a pick of last week either? Just for us to kind of get an idea, because I wasn't sure
Yeah.
about it, but I want people to hear kind of your point of view on that one.
Yeah, so Wilson has been injured for so long, guys, since game week 23. But before he got injured, he had an amazing run. From game week 18 to 23, he had four returns in those six games. And he was really catching fire, really, really hot form. Sadly, he got injured. And I feel like now Silva loves him, he trusts him. So you have Iwobi, he's nailed. And then you have, of course, your Jimenez and but after that, I think he's the next best thing. Because if you look at ESR, Smith Rowe, he's been starting off the bench. He hasn't been nailed. And then obviously Adama Traore is not nailed. And Reece Nelson is injured. So this is why I really like Harry Wilson, not only because of his great form, but because I think he's the third best attacking option. And he justified our pick, really. He played 85 minutes against Southampton, followed by 66 minutes against Villa. Not great minutes, but at least he's starting. So if you're desperate, you need another midfielder to start for you against Everton at home next for him. He can get it.
Yeah, that's a good one. Now the one that we had planned for you and I, we agreed on. Again, he's probably unavailable for most, but he's not maybe necessarily too much of an FPL asset, but he is the most nailed individual on his team, and that was Yuri
Mm,
Tillmans. And
yeah,
unfortunately, he's confirmed now as of the recording of this video. Uh,
yeah,
I believe he is out for the season, if I'm not mistaken. But
yeah.
JP, why was this a pick for you this late in the season? Is it just because he is nailed, or do you feel like the attacking talent couldn't be ignored?
No, good question. So it was a bit of a hail mary. First of all, I want to say that he's injured probably until the end of the year. But even though the FPL website says 18th May, he could be he could be back for the last fixture ever. But no, I would ignore him now. It's sad because the biggest selling point for me, he was the only nailed guy in attacking sense or quasi attacking sense. He's not 100% attacking with Rogers. If you look at the other picks, they can rotate. Even Watkins used to rotate with Rashford before his injury.
Yeah.
So Tielemans and Rodgers, they are, Emery's favorites. Like they are like his sons. And he justified my decision by scoring the only game against Fulham and getting 3 bones. And yeah, he was an amazing pick for the people who went for that Hail Mary. Shout out to you guys. Good job by you. But not only that, he had 3 assists back to back from game week 31 to 33. So the stuff was there. The minutes, the returns, the vibes, they were all there. But sadly now he's gone. So we move on.
All right. So this next one is Ndai. Now the question here is when we're talking about waiver picks, is Ndai really somebody that's available? Uh,
Hmm.
is he an individual that's really available in an 8 or a 10 man league?
It could be if people are focusing on Barrow and people like that. But there's also a possibility that he's taken. If he's not taken, I would gamble on him for that Southampton fixture again. But his last fixtures against against Newcastle away, I would avoid him for that. But for the next one, I really like him.
So
He's
he is
also
a pickup.
on pens, by the
He
way.
is
Sorry,
on fence.
he's on
Yes,
pens, so that increases his appeal.
amazing. So those were the last week, and we've just spoken very briefly about some of them being a possibility for this week, and just to finish off um, the season. Now
Hmm.
the next week waiver picks, and I think this is an important piece. Um, let's start with probably one that is grabbing headlines now. Is our with the
The
picture
man.
of the week as well. Coyote, can you walk me through again? I mean, I own a couple of Brentford defenders, but I want to get your opinion as to it because this came from you first. Um,
Yeah,
why Coyote?
he's been liked by a lot of people and players and content creators out there. First of all, he was signed in January from Fiorentina, and I think that Brentford has been crying out for like a right fullback, a left fullback
Hmm.
as well. If you ask me, they play Keane Lewis Potter there. But right fullback, since Aaron Hickey got injured, they've been trying guys like Christopher Ayer and guys like that, um, Royce Levin, people like that. But Coyote's great. Coyote, he offers the attacking appeal that we love in FPL, right? And since he was just purchased, so people he wasn't on a lot of people's radar. So last week he got 80 minutes, one assist, 0.3 expected assists, which is great. Five successful take-ons. He can do the long throw. He plays really well with Brian and Brumo of the right wing. So this is why I like him. And Flecken is probably not available in your league. KLP is a midfielder in the game. So if you want a Brentford defender, you only have three guys. Collins, again, not available probably. And then you have Vandenberg or Coyote. So these are the two picks that you can target from that defense.
Yep, I actually will see later that I targeted Vandenberg as my pumped for game week 36.
Yeah, and
And
he plays
Brentford have
flexible.
been they've been a weird team this year. I wouldn't say that they're not playing to their expected level since the beginning of the season, but they've had some insane games, and I believe their front line has been probably one of the hottest front lines. It was a Wisa and
Brumo,
Wemo.
Shada.
What 38 combined goals or something like that. So it's a very very impressive stat for this duo. It's a duo that's not really being talked about enough this year. But that gives you confidence, even if you're not getting the likes of those players on your team. But those two are most definitely not available. And if they are available, then you should probably question who's in your league.
No, they're not.
But it's a good pickup, I believe. Even the last few fixtures. This is we'll talk more about this in our next step.
Yeah, the last
Yeah,
thing just to say about Brentford is they've always been really nice attacking. They're having fun. This season Thomas Frank is like, let's just go for it, guys. Let's do the attacking thing, and they've been shipping a lot of goals all year. But what changed it for me is when they went to Forest away, I think a couple of weeks ago, and they cleaned that game. It was a high stakes game for Forest. They were going for Champions League, all that stuff, and they cleaned it. I
I
was
think
like,
it was a 2-0 game, I believe, if I wasn't
yeah,
mistaken, with a
exactly.
Flecken assist to Wisa. It's a
Yeah,
very
yeah,
one
exactly.
of those
So
games.
So I saw that game, I watched it, and I thought, you know what, Brentford can keep cleans if they're up for it. They play Ipswich this week away. There's a possibility there, but Coyote can still give you a return attacking wise. And then they play Fulham at home next week, which I think is great for them still.
Amazing. Now this next one is a very interesting punt of ours. Walk me through my man Akanji, who is returning from injury into probably one of the most uh, lukewarm City teams that we've seen in the past. I almost
Yeah,
want to say 10 years.
yeah, for sure. But I am really desperate for a City defender because I only had Ortega. We'll talk about my team later, and I'm facing a guy who has Guardiola. So this is my advice to everyone listening to the show: wait for the deadline. Before the deadline, wait for the team leaks because City play the early kick. Well, the first game with a couple of other fixtures. So there's a chance that somebody can leak the team. Someone like Lazy FPL, follow him on Twitter if you're not. Shout out Lazy. Also, the City guys on Twitter, they're on it. So if you see that O'Reilly is dropped by Pep, then the logical replacement is Akanji in the middle, and Guardiola will move to the left. And he did that against Wolves last week. Actually, he pulled O'Reilly after missing a pass in the middle of the park, and they were countered on. So Pep was like, "No, I've had enough of this experiment. This 12-year-old guy, he can cost
Yeah.
me my Champions League spot." So he pulled O'Reilly out, and then he put Akanji on, and he played 33 minutes, which is good. So keep an eye on that leak, and if it's good to go, then I would go for Akanji, yeah.
Okay.
Especially
I
with
think
the
that's
amazing fixtures, yeah.
There, the remaining few fixtures are eye candy, and just I think the only issue that some people will argue back and forth is how nailed is Akanji even if he returns. Does he return and start a full 90 or even full 90 is not even needed, which is an advantage. You could probably get 60, 65. but then you can get
Yeah,
the Pep special of the ball trot special of 57, 58 minutes.
yeah. Against
It's
Southampton, yeah, he could do that against Southampton. But
it's high risk, high reward kind of situation.
the thing is, I feel like he may still want to give Akanji some really good minutes before the FA Cup final, which is, I believe, May 17.
Okay,
So again, if he starts against Southampton, then you're laughing, and then we'll see after the FA Cup final. But I feel like if he's available and he starts, then go for him.
good. Leads us to our next guy, and now this ties in with the Yuri's injury. Our boy Marcus enters the scene. Um,
Mhm.
why Marcus? And why on a very very cold Bournemouth uh, team currently?
Yeah. So Bournemouth have been cold. You're right. Ever since they were knocked out of the FA Cup by City, but they're resilient. I love Iraola. They're just gonna go for it. They'll try to get a European spot. They play Villa next at home. Good
Yep.
attacking wise, maybe defensively not good. Then they have a bad fixture, City away, and then they finish the season with Leicester at home. So
Mhm.
if you have a midfield spot open, you want a cheeky Bournemouth guy. If your Kluivert is not available and Semenyo is not available, then Tavernier is your next best bet, especially with our boy Django being out for the season. So I think Tav will have good minutes, and he rewarded us with one assist last game, and he was active to be fair against Arsenal away. He had zero point 0.3 xA, he had two shots and zero point 0.1 xG, and he played 90 minutes. So Tav is good in that regard.
Yeah, it just it'll be very unlikely that he would be available in most leagues. That is a disclaimer, of course. Maybe in a 6 or 5 man league, 4 man league, I think he is a decisive pickup, regardless of the injuries that's going on.
Mhm.
Which leads
Yeah.
us to the next man. Tell us more about this man here, JP. As again, it's one of those. I feel like no longer a hidden gem,
No,
but why is Tell the man right now?
because he's the man for the Premier League. We know that Tottenham want Europa. They reached the final. Richie has been starting, and Solanke has been starting, and Brennan Johnson. Now Son is coming back, and of course Ange will try to prepare Son for the final.
Yes.
So this leaves a big room for the Premier League guys to get minutes, and Tal is at the forefront of that. I
Mm.
watched like some of the highlights. He's really showing the potential that tells you, oh, why, yeah, oh, this guy has been playing for Bayern. He looks like he used to play for Bayern. Um, Vision, I like his vision. He has quality passing. He has great through balls. He's just waiting to link up and gel with his teammates. But last game against West Ham away, 90 minutes, one assist, zero point 0.3 xA, two shots, one shot on target, zero point 0.1 xG. So Tell is your guy in the league if you're a Spurs fan or if you want some Spurs assets.
All right. So the last ones that we were obviously talking about after the 7-1, the infamous 7-1 that United put on a show for us in Europa. Mount and
Mhm.
Ahmad, and these are two obviously question marks that we'll both have. The major points here is their playing time is still questionable at best. Availability, I'm not sure if Ahmad will be available in an 8 or 10 man league. I know he's not available in ours now. Mason Mount should definitely be available. But what are your thoughts on both, given the stakes that United are at currently and based on their
Yeah.
recent performances?
United, very interesting, right? Because they have the talent, they have the attacking options. But the question is, Amorim, who is going to give the minutes to? Now, Mount, before he exploded against Bilbao, he was actually really great recently against Brentford away. He had 56 minutes, not good. However, he had zero point 0.8 xG. He was linking up well with Garnacho, and he scored. You know, and so after Bilbao, I think this increases his appeal. And if you ask me who's Amorim gonna start in the league, I would say Garnacho is good. Mount is good, and then I'm struggling. Um, Ahmad, I have Ahmad on my team. He was great before he got injured. We know this, but he played 45 minutes and he played wing back. So I'm not super confident on him.
Yeah.
I'm more confident with Garnacho Mount. And now
Hmm.
the other question I'll ask you, the number nine, right? Because Chido Obi Martin, the guy they stole from Arsenal Academy, good job by them. They also stole Eden Heaven, good job by them. But he played 90 minutes last game. He didn't score. But Hoyland is also in the picture. Can they rotate together? Chido Obi had good stats. He had 0.34 expected goals last game, but he didn't score. He blanked.
Hoyland for me, that miss, there's just a level of confidence that you need, like a base confidence, and he doesn't have that. The insane amounts of misses and the insane amounts of just absolute opportunities go to waste. There are two levels. There's a level for me where, all right, you take your shot, you take your chance, it doesn't go, sure, and at some point when you do so many of those, you start questioning finishing levels. But there's just a different level where you don't even, like, you have the opportunity to score, you don't. Okay, you have the opportunity at least to take a shot and do something with it so we can see some result, and you don't. And for me, I mean, who knows? Maybe people will clip me back on this if he scores over the weekend. But man, he needs a confidence booster. You know, like
Yeah,
some
but
sort
does he
of.
start though in the next three games? They have good games, starting with West Ham at home. Who gets the minutes?
We don't know. It's a tough one.
So would
My
you
money is not.
recommend?
My money is not to pick up Ireland, who is most likely unavailable anyways.
No, no, I mean Obi. Would you recommend Obi, or is that too much of a
I
gamble?
would. No, I would. I think the season's over anyways for United. Three fixtures left. Where are they going to go on the table?
All right.
Not too far. So
So United, interesting. We'll keep an eye, but I think the fixtures are there. They also end the season at home against Aston Villa. They will want to put a show for their fans. So keep an eye on those guys. So
that's it.
yeah,
All right. The fun portion of this that we will do every week is we look at our team. We are in a 10-man league. JP and myself. We are both actually currently sitting in third and fourth,
third, tied for third.
tied for third with 6 points away from first. So with 3 games left, it's a tight position to be in. But to kind of get some familiarity with everybody, JP, you are gonna walk us through this. This is your team from game week
That's right.
35. Walk me through the what happened here. What were the we already know who the clutch player was, but walk me through how you felt about your main 11.
Yeah. So McNeil came through. Like I said, guys, I was the first guy on him in our league, and he repaid my faith with the bonus as well. And Ahmad, that's luck. I'm not going to take any credit for that return because in the garbage time, 90 plus minutes, he had this speculative effort from the right wing back position, and Fleckening, thank you, Fleckening, he just let it go through him. So those are my key guys. Pau actually was on my bench, to be honest. And then when he returned early against Fulham at home, I was praying that he comes on. So I was looking at my team. Oh, who can get 0 minutes? And I was praying for Solanke actually because he was yellow flagged. And hey, look at that. He Solanke got zero. Pau subbed in, and I got a cool 44 points flying. Thank God.
Good. And just to show them, show everybody, this is the team that you were up against.
Mm, yeah.
What were your thoughts now that people can look at the other team? Was this something that you had expected? A win essentially against this team here, given the games that
No,
were.
I was worried, man. I was worried. So the guy I was facing, he had KDB as his number one pick, and KDB now is he's back to the old Kevin. He had the first game of the week on Friday night, and he hauled basically. So I was really worried, especially that he had four City guys. Ederson got him the clean sheet, which was expected, but he also had Marmoush and Savinho, and I was really happy and surprised that Marmoush blanked that game because he gave me a window to maybe come back and beat this guy. Jota and Darwin were also worrying for me because I knew that one or both can play against Chelsea away, but both did and both blanked, thank God. Matata blanked also, thank God for that. And yeah, so I beat him, and I'm still chasing down the first guy who's 5 points ahead of me, and I play him next week. So it's big game, high stakes.
Amazing, amazing. All right, now we'll go to my team, who again we are 6 points behind. Sorry, this would be my
We're 5 points behind, buddy.
team.
You and I are 5 points behind.
5 points, even better.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
and just to let you guys know that Danny just is ahead of me on goals
Goal
scored.
differentials.
Yeah, points scored. So I'm currently technically I'm fourth, and he's Danny's third. But yeah, we're both 5 points behind first place.
Amazing. All right, so now we'll look into. All right, this is my team. It does not show the main changes that we had, but this is my team from this week. Just here.
Yeah, after your waivers, right?
Yes. Here. All right, we'll update the new one. There we go. So this was my team for game week 35, and I was facing first place, and this team it's been a tough one as rank 2. Mo Salah has been carrying for a long time, most of the season for me. There's question marks about some of the players on here. Again, Ivan Nelson's elbow is actually the reason I won this game week. Jamie Vardy with the farewell party as well, obviously with the most points. But if you look at this team, literally 3 returns. Again, an elbow and an arm and a penalty. Those were my those were my returns.
Yeah, share
Fabian
crazy
Schär
assist.
and ball.
How was that an assist?
Ivan Nilsson elbow, and now Jamie with his farewell party. This is the first place team, guys, and this is the team that I had beaten. Again, the 34 to 29, 5 points. His team has underperformed, but on paper, we were talking about Hoyland. Hoyland is on his bench. Looking at Watkin and Wood, that's a powerhouse forward duo, and I was always a believer when it comes to draft. Obviously, you need there's luck involved, but I was always a believer that having a very, very strong duo up top, or trio if you're really lucky, though that's the difference maker. And Bowen is who carried him, but the rest lots of and Guardiola as well. But thankfully, that was a very monumental 3 points for you and myself.
Yeah, thank you for beating him. Thank you. He has a good team, but you can argue he's unlucky with injuries. Madison and Rashford are out probably for
Madison,
the
Rashford.
season. So the question is, can we come back and hunt him down? We'll see. We'll let you guys know.
Yes. All right. The last piece. GP, walk me through the changes that were made for
Yeah.
game week 36.
So you guys saw that I had Mikel Merino. I just had enough. Yeah, they're out of the Champions League. He can start. He can even start as a number 9. But you know what? They have nothing to play for. Where's the motivation? They're on the beach. They're playing Liverpool away. Then they're playing Newcastle at home. I'm just done. So I picked up Gordon because I had Murphy already. Murphy has been super for me. He's the second highest returner since December after Mo in the whole league. So he's been number 2, and he's good. But Gordon, he's threatening Murphy for minutes. Murphy has been subbing off 60 to 70, and Gordon is getting the rest, and Barnes has been getting the 90. So for extra security, I have Gordon and Murphy. They play Chelsea at home, which is, by the way, on paper is bad, but Chelsea have a miserable record at St. James Park. So I really like this duo. And yeah, they have Everton at home in the final game of the season, and they're going hard for Champions League. So Gordon is my pick. And I also picked Coyote for the reasons mentioned before. Morato is a Hail Mary just in case Murillo is really injured. Then I like the Leicester at home fixture.
Who doesn't?
Yeah, am I gonna change anything else until deadline? Probably keep an eye on two things: the team leaks for Man City. If Ortega is benched again, I will drop him for Stolarczyk. Again, we talked about him earlier, and I would drop Patterson for Akanji if Akanji is starting, with the eye to bring Patterson back next week against Southampton at home. That's it.
Very
Voila.
good.
Fingers crossed.
Awesome. Couple of changes for me, not that many. Uh, uh, Dango is gone out for the season. Sad news. Still have him. I'll probably be dropping him shortly.
For Tavernier,
Uh,
maybe, eh? He's available.
yeah, well, I don't believe he's available, sadly. But the one of the pickups was the thirst for Hurst. So
Mm,
having a Archer is obviously just a pickup to have a third striker, but he's not him. He's nothing essentially. That's the one pointer here and there. So this was just hoping for a punt here. Not even for this game week. Hurst has just been picking up the odd goal here and there, and he's getting more minutes.
yeah,
And not a great remaining schedule, but again, for a third option, fantastic.
yeah. And I have a
And then,
feeling,
mm,
this feeling that Delap is leaving in the summer. Of course, he'll leave, but the feeling is that maybe they wanna blood in Hurst more, give him more minutes because he could be the guy in the championship next year
yeah,
to score the goals for them.
that's about it. And then the other one was Vandenberg, which we spoke about uh, earlier. Brentford are, I think, believe it or not, they look to be overperforming, but I feel like with that squad, they have more left in the tank in the remaining 3 game weeks. And
Mhm.
my bet is that they will do very very well in the remaining 3 games, starting with Ipswich away.
We'll see.
Uh,
Cool beans.
but that's all. JP, any final comments?
Good luck to everybody listening to this show in your leagues, in your matchups, head to head. We wish you all the best. Yeah, hopefully you guys make great decisions and God bless you guys. Thank you.
Yeah, if you have any questions, always feel free to drop any comments below the video. We don't claim to always be experts, but we'll be giving our opinion on
Yeah,
the situations.
you can call
And
us hairy frauds, just like Pep is a bald fraud, Slot is a bald fraud. We'll take hairy frauds. How about that?
that's right. That's it. And if you actually like this video, please do leave a like and subscribe. This is we're testing out something brand new, so it'd be nice to get some feedback from
Yeah.
everybody.
By the way, guys, this is our first ever video, so go easy on us in the comments. If you have any questions about your team, feel free to post them, and we'll try to give you our opinions about these players or these teams. And yeah, we'll take it forward
And
from
if you have any ideas on better ways for production to improve the video, we're always open to everything.
there. Yes, sir.
All right. And other than that, we'll see you guys next week.
Okay, let's go.
Take
Ciao,
care.
guys. See ya.